Hi. So it's been a minute since I did my first video on how to build a capsule wardrobe, and I wanted to do a couple of follow-ups. And this first follow-up is about how to start finding ethical companies and knowing whether your companies, the ones that you currently frequent, are ethical or not. So first, we kind of have to define ethical. In the research that I've done, in the time that I've been working to cultivate an ethical wardrobe, it's come down to three different things. You have ethicalness in labor, in environment, and in animal products. And each of those for me, has a different set of values. Obviously, it's best if all three of those are at a very high standard. For me personally, because of my commitment to the end of human trafficking, my highest priority is always labor, though I would have preferred that it all would be at a very high quality. Now, the best way, and the way that I started to be able to find out whether companies are ethical or not, and to find good ethical companies in all three of those places, for standards for all three of those, is actually on an app called Good On You. So Good On You. And they actually have a database, and they do independent research on different companies. Now, it's a pretty wide database, but it's still not perfect. It's not completely full. There's always companies coming and going, and so it's very fluid that way. But you can find some really big companies on there, things like Patagonia, Athleta, kind of any of your run-of-the-mill / run-of-the-mall stores are going to be in there, and you can kind of figure out where they rank in those three particular demographics of labor, environment, and animal products. So that's a great place to start. And that particular app, at least, also has an ability to search for particular products. So if you're looking for a swimsuit for the summer and you want some swimwear, you can search for swimwear companies and kind of do some of that research. It takes a lot of work. It takes some commitment. You will buy online, which is a different set of purchasing, and it's a different lifestyle, but it can be done. It's how I found a lot of my companies that I like. And once you start searching them on your phone, because the world knows you, those will actually start coming up in your social media apps as well. So you'll start to get ads for the companies that you've searched for, which once they start being ethical, Facebook and Google and all those fun things that just know you so well will start to actually provide you some of that as well. So that's one of the good things about social media and its spying on you, is that sometimes it can be used productively as well in that sort of way. But what if you have a company or you have a product that you want to buy and they aren't on Good On You, and you want to do a little bit of your own research? The best way to do this is to go to their website, and there's two places I always look. One is if they have an About Us. If they have an About Us, and then they start to talk about their labor and the places where they have their factories and where they source their products from, it's often helpful just that they're actually giving you that information. Sometimes it's pretty shady. When you start reading them, you can kind of figure it out. And then if they don't have them at all, you can probably guess that they're not great. And then the other thing is if they don't have an About Us, it also is helpful to go to frequently asked questions. Oftentimes now you will find in some of the companies, in some of the ones that I've searched for and that I actually am buying from, which I'm going to talk about some of the companies that I use in my next video, and the ones that I've liked and how I've kind of decided or placed them in the value set of if they're ethical or not. There's no perfect here. Like all things, it's a lifestyle shift. You have competing commitments, and you have to navigate that. It's threading the needle much more than clear-cut black and white. But if they do have a frequently asked questions, it's also useful to kind of go through some of those questions, because oftentimes companies will have questions regarding sourcing of their materials, where their factories are, because people are starting to ask those questions of companies, which I think is a really good thing. So you actually will get that particularly on bigger companies as well as well-established companies. The quick companies that are coming up on Facebook that, have $2.99 for a dress, stuff like that, that's fast fashion. If you don't know what fast fashion is, I definitely would recommend that you just do a real quick Google search on fast fashion versus slow fashion, and it's going to explain it to you a whole lot better than I can. But fast fashion is really about getting cheap labor and cheap products out that will disintegrate, really, and then you have to go buy some more. So it's just some stuff to think about and to look into. But for me, when it started to come to find ethical companies and ethical corporations and places that I wanted to buy new clothes from, Good On You is my hands down go-to app. And then if I do find some products that I like or that I think look fun, even on Facebook, I will go to their websites and try and find out what their kind of stance is, or if they'll even give me any information about where their products are sourced from. Even taking that one step will usually get me to not buy stuff either, which the very first thing in building an ethical wardrobe is to simply stop purchasing and actually use the stuff you have. I'm going to add a pyramid of ethical wardrobes that I've shared a couple of times of what you can do now, which is 1, use the stuff you have in your house. Use the stuff that you make a wardrobe out of what you have. And you can even change some of that. There's some great stuff out on Instagram now and YouTube and Pinterest about reworking things and changing your clothes up. And if that's something that you like to do or want to get into, I think it's a great way to reuse some of your clothes and make them new and fashionable or different. But shopping secondhand, using things like ThredUp or going to local consignment shops. This stuff, all of this is helpful. So pay attention to that pyramid as well and see what you are currently doing, and as well as what you could start doing right now before you even purchase something, before you even do the research about finding whether a company is ethical or not. So those are just some things I wanted to share and some things for you all to think about. And my next video, hopefully it won't be a whole week before I get it out, but I make no promises, it might be, is actually going to be about some of the companies that I found and the ones that I have been now using frequently, or the ones that I maybe used but have stopped, and some of the things that I've learned about shopping ethically as well as just internet shopping, which again is different. So some tips and tricks and things to really think about as you kind of move into perhaps cultivating whether it's a full ethical wardrobe or just cultivating a different intentionality around your shopping. So hopefully this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. As always, I'm happy to help, and have a wonderful day.